Whitetail Advantage presents the Frank and Squatch Show, where the outdoors comes alive. Join Frank, the bow hunting tactician, and Squatch, the backwoods storyteller, as they dive into everything hunting. From chasing whitetails in the timber to tracking elk in the mountains, gear talk, campfire tales, and lessons learned the hard way. If it's wild, rugged, and rooted in the hunt, you'll find it here. This is the Frank and Squatch Show.
What's up, boys?
What's up, boys?
Hello, everybody.
We are
Happy to be
finally
on.
back. Yes, sir. We have our new guest here, part of the team, Mr. Mike Nitre, Boondocks Hunting himself. Mike, what's going on, bud?
What's up, boys? What's up? Pumped, honored to be on, and can't wait to get some talking.
Well,
No,
we discussed it back during the early part of last week. Frank and I said to match the kind of ethnicity of the flavor of the football, with the big game there and everything. We needed to bring our brother Mike on.
Absolutely.
Who's he's like he's the spice of the outdoor world. We need him up there doing his shake and his telling us what happened all these years with his past hunting season here. And Mike's got some really good he's got some good tales of what happened. He's had a pretty good successful season this year. And you all out there hear me being a little nasally and a little scratchy because the old Squatch is fighting off the cold. It's just about over. So if I don't sound right to you all, that's what's happening with me. I'm actually drinking some tea.
That's it. I'm just going to kick back and relax. That's it.
What's going on with Broadside Ambush, Frank? I mean, we've all been dodging this freaking freezing cold up here in the Northeast, and we've had a worse winter than out west. It's really something, but it's good to see all your faces. We've been a little bit in the shadows for a little bit, but we're back. We're here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know me, man. Just laying low, trying to stay warm, stay out of trouble.
Yep.
Spend some time with the family before they kill me, and that's it, man.
Yeah,
that's all I've been up to.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
So what about you, Mr. Mike?
Hockey. Right now, it's been a lot of hockey. My high school team, we won last night. We're in our division playoffs right now. So we're in the semifinals going against Westfield. They are our bitter rivals. Hate them with the fucking passion. Never liked them. Didn't like them when we played. They hate us. We hate them. Every sport, it's a blood fest. So they're I think ranked number 6 in the state. They're probably the best public school in the state this year. So we got our hands full. We lost to 2 games before, but we got our best player back after he broke his collarbone in his first game of the year back in early December, and he just came back yesterday. So we're looking good. I'm real excited. And then after that, we have states. So been real busy with hockey.
Nice.
Good. Well, on that note, I hope you kick their ass then, since we don't like them.
Thank you.
But hey, so Mike, why don't you just recap us on how your season went, bud? For those who don't know, we all know.
Season's still not done for me here. I got 1 or 2 more hunts, but hoping to get 1 or 2 more hunts. But I mean, it's been a great season, long season. For me, it starts September 1st. Down in Delaware. Me and the boys were down in Delaware for a week probably. Chasing deer all over. Had a blast over there. And then came home, got it done opening weekend with a big old doe.
Yeah.
And just, rolled where I wanted to shoot a bunch of does early in the season, and just they just were never in front of me. They just never, they knew I was trying to kill them, obviously. They just didn't, they weren't where they needed to be. So that was a little frustrating. Getting to October, things are starting to change and everything like that. I mean, and it all really started for me. I was sitting in a cornfield and a giant, 8 or 10 was behind me at 15, 16 yards. Never got a shot opportunity because of just like what he was through. And he made his way out. And this plays in my head all the time because it's like, no matter what, you do everything right, wins right, everything like that. And he just needed to make a left, and he would have came right in front of me at 20 yards. Instead, he just beeline straight across the cornfield and through the other side. So, you know, that's how it happens. And then a freaking coyote, maybe 15 minutes later, comes trotting along and tried shooting him on the walk, and didn't realize he was more of not walking, a little more of a little pep in his step. So I could
a little bit.
You know, so that was a pretty cool encounter. And then, you know, hunted that cornfield pretty hard. Had a bunch of great encounters with a couple of big deer. And then I think I had an encounter with that deer again at 20 yards. Went to go stop him. You know, all the boys know from Boondocks and know this. You know, you try to stop a deer with a mat, and he bounces out. He bounced probably to like 50 yards. Got my pin set on him perfectly. You know, you let it fly, thinking the deer is gonna drop, especially being on alert like he was. And he didn't drop until probably maybe the arrow either was about to hit him or just like literally about to hit him, right? So he didn't drop. I did what I had to do. There was good blood, you know, so called the dog tracker, and we tracked for probably like over an hour, and just was finding blood, like, you know, some good blood and everything like that. But we came to non-lethal shot, you know, so we went from there. And then, yeah, things really heated up at the end. I mean, in November, I think it started with Connor. Connor killed one in October, like the end of October. And then November 1st, I think Squatch got one. Zach got one. I shot a doe on the 2nd, I believe. And then the 3rd, I shot my buck at like 5 yards. And he went 15 and dropped right in front of me. And then I drove to PA, smoked my first PA rifle opening day with the PA right up in PA, and yeah, just had a hell of a time. You know, it was a great season, great season, a lot of great encounters, a lot of lessons learned, some good, some not. You know, some failures and stuff like that. But you know, overall, like, I'm already itching to get it started again.
So I got a question for you, Mike. One thing you'd take away, the best thing that you could take away, even though your season's technically not over, what's one thing you could really take away from this season and, you know, share with everybody, like the most valuable thing that's hit you, like, you know, dead square in the chest, like maybe something you learned, maybe something, you know, you walked out of the woods with, and, you know. And of course, here's our counterpart. He looked really tan. I get a tan like that, I'm a ginger. Brett, according to the rules, yes, you are accepted in the gingerism of tanning booth. So yes, you can. Even though you technically look like a Loompa Oompa from the Willy Wonka factory, in your oranginess, you know, we'll accept you in the brotherhood of that. Sure.
Absolutely. We gotta accept them in something. Come on, man.
Oh, he wants a verbal confrontation from Mike.
Oh, is that what it is?
I mean, listen, he is part black, so I mean, I definitely believe it's gonna happen. You know, it's gonna happen. Maybe you one day you come to Jersey. We go to the Jersey Shore with Frank. You know, we lather ourselves down in some cooking oil, because that's what Frank really does. He doesn't use the oil. He uses the cooking oil. Yeah, right? And maybe that will help you, Brett. Maybe you can get darker than me. You know, because you got that hidden, you got that black gene. So you know.
Yep. And he's got to wear the banana hammock though.
Yeah. The thing is about Brett is he's as white as the porcelain on a spark plug. I think if you put oil on him, he's going to cook like a French fry in hot oil.
Could you imagine? I would pay to see that though.
All right. Listen, Brett, this is a family show. You know, you can't have your own personal lotion. Keep that in your own Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
You
know? But yeah, as we were saying, I mean, I think it's, you know, you really look at it, and I kind of look at it like you can never really give up. You know,
yeah.
No matter what, especially when you have long seasons,
yep.
you are gonna have a bunch of love you too, Brett. You're gonna have a bunch of, you know, some heartaches. You know, you're gonna have some failure. You may go a long stretch of time where nothing is going for you, and I felt like I had that, like, you know, after I shot my doe, or even before I even shot my doe. It's like you have this picture in your head of like, all right, like it's gonna start in Delaware. We're gonna kill a bunch of big bucks down in Delaware. You know what I mean? We're gonna start hot. We're gonna go to Jersey. Opening day, you know, opening morning, not even day. Like first light comes on. You know, you're gonna shoot your doe, and you're gonna go out and you're gonna shoot your buck. You know what I mean? And then how like wrong you are about kind of like all these things. You know, when it kind of started early of not beating myself up and getting myself to make mistakes I normally wouldn't do because things weren't working out. You know, it's kind of like trusting the whole process. Just because, you know, the does weren't where I needed to be at that time, and you know, you're doing everything right, so just keep on going. You know, everyone knows, you know, who's close to me. Like I love to hang and hunt. I'm very mobile. Like I move around and everything like that. And you know, I just got to remember, like, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's let's be honest. You were hunting even if you don't even count Delaware. You're hunting Jersey, second week of September till second week of February. You know, like it's a long season. You don't have to force things and stuff like that. So that was kind of like my thing, and it really worked out. And you know, when I needed to get aggressive, I got aggressive. When I needed to just sit back and just let them come to me, like I did that. So it was a hell of a season.
Yep.
It was. No, it was. I think we all suffered the trials and tribulations of unforeseen, you know, beating those hurdles that you put yourself up against personally, and you know, making things work. Like you said, you just don't give up. I mean, there's just days like I'll be laying there in bed and I'm like, do I really want to get out and like just suffer again? Like all the bull crap I've been going through, and, you know, lost a spot here that I used to go to and had a spot we thought we were going to go to, and that fell apart. Yep. And then, you know, seeing that trophy buck, the one you've been hunting, your target buck, cliche target buck, you know, day after day on camera, trying to get that pattern down, shoot the buck you thought was a target buck, and it wasn't. But it was
Can't believe you lied to me.
Well, you know, it's big shoes to fill. I mean, and you always, you guys behind the scenes don't know. Look at me, right? It's little old me. And then you got Frank, and Frank bullies people, and
he is a bully. I can confirm it.
Yes,
you know, and it's like, you know, I shot 17 deer already because I live in Jersey and hunt over bait, and I'm up here in New York, and I got no bait, and I gotta hunt deer the hard way, and he's yelling and screaming at me. We got an effing show. What's the matter with you? You're supposed to be the legend, and you're just a sack of shit that don't do anything.
Hey, wait, real quick. Don't mean to cut in, Squatch, but from my understanding, you've been blessed in as a Jersey hunter, so you're a big guy too. Don't sit here and lie.
I was waiting to get him on that one. I was going to let him finish his story, then I was going to get his ass with that. But that's all right.
Yeah, I was only because I didn't shoot enough deer. Frank felt sorry for me, so he was like, "All right, you know, we got to make you a masturbator, and you have to come to Jersey and learn how to do this the right way." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I, you know, went in his stand and shot a deer out of his stand. And, you know, basically that's all it was. But I'll tell you what, we had it for stew the other night. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I told him it had a nice fat like line through it because of all the corning.
Yeah.
It's a little different than in New York deer. They usually eat apples up here.
Yeah. No, listen, I told you it was apple flavored corn, so you were fine. It should have tasted the same.
It was. It had it almost like flavors of the forest hint to taste to it too, you know. But no, it's all good, man. No, like we bust our ass. We all as a group, you know, and we're a big family. If you guys don't know, you know, Mike Boondocks, we all like took part in this whole family thing all around the same time. I got with Whitetail Advantage right at about the same time. Frankie jumped on board too. We didn't, you know, neglect Mike either. We wanted to make it all a big happy family, so we try to keep everybody involved here with this whole crew. Mike has you know, Boondocks Hunting, the Garden State Outdoorsman podcast. Make sure you guys check that out.
Absolutely.
You know, we all share in the pain, man. I mean, we constantly talk to each other on Signal and group chats, and Zach's part of our crew too. Good guy, man. He puts some hammers down on deer.
Yeah, he does. He killed it this year.
You know, it's what helps us go day to day, man. When we're out there in that grind, you know, you're getting there bored. You're looking around the woods like, oh God, I wish something would come. And bing, somebody's like, yep, just shot one. Or bing, you know, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm quitting hunting and taking up golf to be like Brett Boven and you know, I mean, it's cool, Brett, man. It's cool.
Real quick, Brett. You know, I know you're not. You know, hunting for you is like, you know, you're too good for it. You know, I will say, if you want to come to our wild game dinner, you don't even have, you know, you can buy a ticket and everything like that. You can come for like, you know, maybe an hour. And we have some of the greatest golf courses around. Actually, we're right next to a PGA golf course. So, like, if the hunting and the brotherhood doesn't really get you to, you know, want to come, I know Johnny's coming. But hey, we got some pretty great golf courses here. You know, you can come play golf while the boys are, you know, knocking a few cold ones, you know, sharing in some hunting stories and everything like that. So food for thought, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, good old Brett.
And not only that, he can even go to like Teaneck, New Jersey, and fit into the ghetto, and like, you know, hang out with his brothers in a real, you know, different environment. I mean, you know, he'd fit right in, being as black as he is. I mean, for crying out loud.
Gosh, he's so black.
Yeah. He is. Blackest person I've ever seen.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, if he doesn't smile and it's dark, we don't know where he is. We look for him for hours. You know?
That's why we got to keep busting his balls.
Yeah.
You know, and one thing that, you know, that you're saying, Squad, like, I got to give, you know, our team so much credit. Especially, you know, since we've really grown over the last 2 years. I mean, I haven't gone through the deer count yet this year. I probably will in the next like week or so. But I mean, I would say probably in the last 2 years, I think we're close, if not over. We're probably close to 100 deer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We gotta be.
And you know, we've another thing, like, and I keep talking about, because, you know, bear hunting's so big and you know, part of Boondocks and everything like that, I mean, we're on a roll of a bear year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of these years we'll definitely kick up to like 3 or 4 probably in a season or something like that, you know. But the boys all bust their ass so hard, you know, during the season, everything like that, from the guys that are on Instagram to the guys like we got a lot of guys that are not even on Instagram like that. So and everybody busts their butt. They go out when they can. Just a bunch of killers. No one kills more than, actually, I can't even say that, you know, with the straight face, but I don't know who kills more, Zach, long-haired Zach, or Frank. You know, and Frank had a little slow year this year, so, you know.
A little slow, yeah.
A little slow year, and he still did, what, how many did you end up with? 4, 5?
Yeah, I killed 4 this year, 5 last year.
Yeah, and then, you know, of course, you're bear and everything like that, so, I'm proud of everybody, you know, and the work and everything that goes into it. So, you know, I always show my gratitude to the boys, you know, from, you know, the OGs like Squatch and Frank to the to the new guys of the Connors, Zach, and all those guys. So, and
Greg did great out there too, man.
Yeah, man. They all killed it. Everybody did.
Yep.
Yeah, we got some Wisconsin boys, so shout out to the Wisconsin boys as well.
Yeah, it was surprising, man. I mean, everybody. What and I gotta say, when Frank and I really like started scouting and doing stuff, and we're like, dude, it's going to be a phenomenal year. And then we hit some hurdles, and we discussed all that crap that happened, and it really it puts like the air brakes on you when you're doing Mach 3 because you're so high, thinking like this is the year, the year, and my one thing that I would take out of it is just like Mike said, man, you don't give up, you got to do that grind, you got to freaking beat yourself into the ground, and don't always follow like I rely a lot on the cameras, and I probably shouldn't. And this next year, I think I'm shutting a lot of stuff off. But, God, man, it's like I'd go to a stand and be like, I'm not going to see anything here, but I'm going to try it just because I got a feeling, and it worked, And I was like, that afternoon I went out up here, I was like, dude, I smell like freaking lawnmower. I was out here blowing leaves. All right, let me rush out, go get in the tree, clean myself up. Thank God, man, I had like the rack getter stuff out and my cover scents, my earth spray and everything. And it's really, you just can't give up. You got to go with like your gut instinct, hit the ground pound. And we're ground pounders, man. We're grunts.
Yeah, we are.
We put the time and effort in, and it's a good feeling. It's a sad feeling. It's a good feeling. It's like bittersweet. I mean, when season's over, you're just like, oh, thank God, What? 2 weeks into it afterwards, you're going, man, I wonder what they're doing. I'm still watching my cameras. I mean, my cameras are going. I'm watching what's losing racks, this and that. Unfortunately, we got hammered with a lot of snow up here. I'm over 2 feet out in the woods. It's hard for me to get out and try even predator hunting and everything else. So, it's one of those things, but, well, hell, we all do it. We guys that hunt, we're just that breed. We get out there and we make it work. We figure it out.
Yep.
And we rely on our brothers and our teammates and everybody that helps us out with stuff that they make. And, we rely on those products, and, we're still dibbing and dabbing. We're learning new stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying new products out.
Of course.
We're working on stuff, and it's just a good thing, man. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the springtime, guys. I really am. I want to get on the turkeys. I want to get out and start trout fishing and start enjoying a little bit warmer weather, man. I'm so glad. I'm grateful. It's like 30 degrees out right now and not 0.
Well, and that's first of all, I want to definitely say I'm so happy winter was winter this year. So happy. And it honestly made hunting for me a lot of fun. I'm still going after it. Found a couple sheds already. I got a lot of shed bucks. I do have 2 good ones. One big buck holding on still.
Yep.
And that 6-pointer that I encounter, he's still holding on and everything as well. So I'm pretty happy. Got out, got to see, like today, got out, saw a bunch of like exactly where they're bedding. Like they're not going far from a food source and everything like that. As much as I haven't hunted using corn and everything like that at all during, the earlier years, season. The winter is, I was like, listen, I'm going to do it. Like there's really, with all this snow has not, and I mean, obviously Squatch knows this and everything like that. Frank too, where he lives.
Yeah.
There isn't much of a food source right now. Like I watch a deer eat things that they normally aren't. They're not really eating. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's dwindled.
Yep.
And so they're not going far. So I've taken that of just, it made shed hunting a lot easier. It's the one hunt, like it was probably, and it was a little warmer. It was like 16, 17 degrees this day when I was out hunting. But I had already 8 deer in front of me. And then I looked to my left, and I don't know, like I think I had 20 plus deer in front of me, and one of the shooters was 20 yards from me. But you can't move. Like, there were so many eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so nervous to move, and I don't know what happened. Like, yeah, maybe a deer saw me, but they just weren't sure what I was. You know, when deer just run for no reason, they think they get spooked and they run.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they all run. That's literally what they happened. And then that buck turned around and stopped, and he was looking. He had no idea. None of the deer knew what the hell they were running for. They just knew one of them had to run, so let's all run, right?
Right.
Yep.
That's the one difficult thing, but I will say it has been great having winter and everything like that. It is very much needed. Things like that. Like, I've been having fun, but yeah, you're getting right. Like, we're slowly getting to that time. It's like, all right, like today was 30, I think 2 degrees, and I could have probably been outside in shorts out. Yeah. Compared to what it's been like, this was such a warm day.
It feels hot.
It feels hot, but
it's amazing. It's amazing, man. From those 0 degrees and it's like 22, 23 out, and you're like, wow, it must be 40. And you look at the thermometer, you're like, it's only 20.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy how that works and everything like that. And especially the other day, like the wind, I think we had that Arctic blast. And you really felt it. I'm like, dude, how do people do it? Like, how do people live in like these places that are even worse than us, like all the way up in Canada or Alaska and stuff like that, where that Arctic wind is just constantly there? It's just like, you see how tough people really are living into these other places.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But even like going back to what you were saying, Mike, as far as like baiting this time of year, I know even though I do bait, pretty much the whole year, I kind of don't even, like, I might hunt over the bait a couple times, but I don't know about how this is for you, Mike, but I kind of like, I'll put out bait in front of the cameras or whatever, just to kind of see who's around, get them like kind of conditioned to come where I want. There's my boy right there. But I kind of like to see where they're coming from, because I hate shooting deer over bait. I'll be honest with you. I think going back to like what you were saying, Mike, as far as like, it sucks because one, there's too many eyes, right? And two, they're always so freaking jumpy every time they're over bait. Yeah. So I almost use the bait as a way to cut them off before they get to the bait. So I might be hunting maybe 30, 40, 50 yards, whatever, away from the bait, trying to cut them off coming in. That, because I rather shoot them almost when they're calm, instead of shooting them over bait. Because every deer I shot over bait either freaking ducked or something happened. There's another one looking, even though they can't really see you, they know. They're just so skittish. Do you find the same shit with you?
It's something that we have a completely different like experience with. And let me knock on wood. I need to do that right now. You know what I mean? I've had a pretty, like, I'll bait, leading up to the season. I run a lot of, minerals and from Racketter and everything like that, and the drip bags and everything. I'm waiting for the snow to clear up so I can get some of the stuff out there and for that ground to soften so I can dig my hole and start my process. Like, I tried as much as I can to get minerals out there. Sometime in the winter with all the snow, it's kind of made it harder for me. So I'm a little delayed on that. But like, I start that and I do that I run minerals probably up until I start noticing them not hitting it nearly as much. Like, in those from the winter to end of spring, from me and the deer that I've noticed, like, that's their biggest time when they're hitting the minerals. So once they move off of that, you know what I mean, then I'll start to slowly run bait only at spots where I have to shoot my doe for earn a buck, you know what I mean? And I'll try to set up like 3 spots just in case if one spot just isn't, I'm not liking the one spot. when I go from shooting them over, like honestly, earn a buck. Yeah, I'll shoot one over it. I shot my doe over it this year. The only deer that I shot over bait was opening weekend doe, so I can get that out of the way. And she was pretty calm. The only thing that was making her paranoid was the squirrels were knocking all the acorns and everything like that, or they were knocking stuff off. So like I have a bunch of video where she's literally she's looking all the way up there.
Yeah.
So that made her skittish, but no drop. She had no time to react. It was a 20-yard shot for me. I was running the new Matthews that I have, 70-pound drawback. Went right through her. Yeah, she didn't go far. And then, I started baiting for winter bow, and I was doing the same. I wasn't hunting initially over the bait.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't move my set, or I didn't set up another spot closer until what I noticed. It was so cold, and we were starting to get snow. I think I was pushing them off of their beds. They're bedding a lot closer than they have years in the past because we haven't had this much snow. What I notice is when we do have winters like this, they push up on the ridge that I'm posted on. You know what I mean? So I think I was just going a little too far, and I was pushing them off because every time I'd go in, I wasn't seeing deer. When I pushed myself probably 30, 40 yards back and right onto the bait, then I started seeing deer. So I was like, all right, like maybe they were, and then I actually saw exactly where the deer came from. And it's like, there you go. They were bedded right there. I was pushing a little too close without realizing they were bedding right there. So it was actually a really great decision for me to move back. And then even like where I have because the tree that I was going to, I left, it's like some of my old stuff. So I left it in there. I know the exact tree. There were beds all right by it. So it was a smart decision. I think, I don't know if they're skittish because it's just late season right now. But they weren't doing they'll look up, they'll see me move. I don't have much cover right now. Everyone knows it's winter. You know what I mean? Yep. They've been hunted after hard. There isn't much cover. Everyone knows the way I hunt from September to basically December is I go and become one with the trees. I'm looking for trees that have branches and everything like that all over. It may be a pain in the butt to get into, but I try to break everything up as much as I can, and that's where I've had the most success is getting in trees like that, or have the weird big branches that go off, and you gotta maneuver, and you can just get right in, and you look like another branch. You know what I mean? So, man, I don't want to say, and also maybe your area, and you gotta remember you're not the only guys hunting where we've been up to where you are. We've talked about it a lot. I guarantee a lot of those guys are baiting just as much. So the deer are going to be way more skittish. I think, some of the spots where I'm hunting, there's people baiting and stuff, but they're big pieces of public, and then some of the others, like the one spot, my southern spot, my southern central spot, you don't really need a bait there because the food sources are absolutely incredible. You have beans and corn 24/7 around every piece of property has it. So you may throw out some corn, and some of the guys may throw out some corn, but there's so many deer, and I don't think it's played that much of an effect like you'll see in other places in Jersey where the minute they see corn they're looking in the trees.
Yeah,
I mean it's I think it just depends on what's going on around you. And that's something that I know if I'm going to hunt for a big buck and I'm going to use corn, I'd set up corn and then set maybe 45 yards away and, use it like a mock scrape, And that's what I think Gerard taught us that. Do you remember that one episode that
I do.
he's the one that taught us? Use it like a mock scrape.
Yep, that's where I got the idea from to do, and last year I hunted more over the bait, and this year I backed off it, and let me tell you something, it was very effective with both of those bucks I got, so I was very happy with the results.
Yeah, I think anyone looking at this, and obviously there's a bunch of states, obviously you can't do this and everything like that, or if you're someone who's coming into a state and this is what you want to do. I think you just really got to learn your deer. You know what I mean? I think you have to learn your deer, learn your property, and see how they really react to things. You are gonna. I definitely think in Jersey, especially, where Frank lives, at Sussex, where you have way more hunters.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get skittish deer. You know what I mean? Or you go down South Jersey, everyone hunts down there. You're gonna get skittish deer. You know what I mean? I think it really just depends, where you are.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like you were saying before, like most of your hunts, because I remember you actually sending us pictures, and some of those you were only like a stick up, if that.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like the spots where I hunt, there's not a lot of cover. It's open hardwood. So I try to get as high as I can just to kind of stay out of sight. So
and that's something I went into this season focusing on. Of you kind of get into that notion of I need to be 3 or 4 sticks up. You know what I mean? I need to be as high as I can. And I'm like, especially in the early season, I'm looking at my spots. I'm like, wait, one of my favorite hunts, I wasn't even a stick. I literally didn't bring my platform, didn't bring a stick. I just brought my saddle, and I literally just tethered myself, and I just sat on that and I used it like a chair, where I was just hanging. And I had, I don't know, I can't remember if I told you guys, but I'm sitting in this beans. I'm just chilling there, and I hear da-dump, da-dump, da-dump. I'm like looking around. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And all of a sudden, a doe just comes flying past me, and I'm like, oh shit! I'm trying to grab and here comes another one, and the doe I definitely would have shot, stopped maybe like 5-10 yards in front. Maybe I think actually like 5 yards. I couldn't move. I couldn't try to turn the camera on. I couldn't do anything because I'm like, she was so close to me.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was so thrilling. Like it definitely paints a picture. I'm still not a guy to sit on the ground. I still would like to, my preference would still to be at least 1 stick up or something. I like the advantage. If I was a stick or 2 up, I would at least a stick up. I would have seen them coming. You know what I mean? They were able to sneak up on me because I couldn't see. And you're going to remember, everything is tall grass. So I got myself like 1 little shooting lane, and that was it. Deer were popping that hunt. Deer were popping up on me, but that was my only option in this bean field. I watched the bean field for most of the summer, and there were deer constantly in it. And where the does were bedding were kind of like right where you park and everything like that. Not many people hunt it. Of course, that was the one day people actually went there. They're real nice. We talked and everything like that. But I don't know. Like guys love hunting on the ground. I think it's real situational. I will do my best to try to get 1 stick up. Always the minimum is to get 1 stick. That's my preference. Just so I can say I would have shot that doe if I would have saw her, if I would have known she was coming, like without a doubt. I could have probably threw a rock at her, and you know what I mean. That's how close she was. So that's my preference. I know Zach, our other Zach, like he hunts mostly off the ground, and you know what I mean. He does a lot of spot and stalks or calling and stuff like that, and the same thing. He'll get a stick and everything like that off the ground. So being in hardwood, Frank's, like I mean, I've seen where you're hunting and everything like that. Yeah, you kind of have no choice but to get as high as you can because that's your only option.
So like, I got a question for like what you're saying, and I mean, I've done it in certain instances, like a stick, 2 stick high, only because there's enough cover and stuff, behind me. But one thing I always runs through my mind is, okay, yeah, visually I can hack this. I can fool them at this height. It's not a big deal. I'm playing the wind to the runs the way they're coming in. But always in the back of my mind, you guys can correct me if it hasn't crossed your mind or whatever either. But I always think, I'm like, man, all these years I've always gone high. I'm always just, 18, 20s, and even higher sometimes. And just because, like, in the back of my mind, my scent is just drifting. And that old buck, man, when he hears you calling or he picks up a scent, maybe that you put out, maybe he's back circling around you to catch the wind. And I don't know, man. It's like sometimes I just want to take the easy route, do the 2 steps, get up in there in my set, and just hope for that element of surprise.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's in the back of my mind all the time. How many bucks are smelling me and running away that I don't even know that are there?
So here, I'll hear Cody DeCrisca. He is I love listening to him. I started listening to him this year.
Yep.
Guy's a killer.
Yep.
I listened to one of his videos and he talked about that, and he goes, and it really depends on your wind and how strong your wind is. But he goes, if you actually are lower, your scent doesn't disperse like you would think.
Yeah, it doesn't pull.
It actually just goes straight basically to the ground.
Yeah.
And I've done it where it lands like pretty short. He goes, obviously sometimes when you're higher up, if those deer that are real close in, it's going to go right over. You know what I mean? But he goes, you have to be in that sweet spot. And when you're low like that, and I tested, obviously I have the milk, I'm checking my scent and wind direction, everything like that constantly at that time, because you have no choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I always try to give, if I can, to give myself that option to shoot too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if a deer does come that direction and does scent me, like, I want to make sure I have that chance to send an arrow if I need to.
Right.
It hasn't, from what I know, it hasn't busted my hunts yet. You know what I mean? I've actually, like, those hunts where I've been that low, no deer has gotten behind me. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I said, your set has to kind of be perfect to match it. You know what I mean? And you might be better off asking our other Zach that, because he's been doing this at those heights much longer than I have. You know what I mean? It is in the back of my, but listening to that video kind of put a lot of that ease to my mind and everything like that. And listen, I had deer like out in front of me, and no deer came like right behind me at that time. There were deer further in the beans and everything like that, way further, but nowhere even close, like a couple 100 yards away, like nothing even remote. I would say probably in the 7,500 yard range came behind me or anything like that. And it's a bean field, so I was able to see everything like that. So I was in a hedgerow between 2 bean fields. So the trees are slim picking for me too as well. So I think I only can get into 2 or 3 trees over there. And I know exactly where these does come out and everything like that. And, they were there, just never, not close enough. So, I don't know. I've become obsessed with it. But it did make me uncomfortable a few hunts. And I've, you just got to keep going and going.
Yeah.
And like right now, I would never do it. Going when I go to Delaware, I'm probably going to do it. I did it in Delaware too. I actually used wasn't even a tree, guys. I don't even know what it exactly was, but I only set.
Is it a telephone pole?
It was like a telephone pole. It's not. It's for. It's square. It was square. It's like I think it was like for birds or something like that, right?
Oh, shit.
And I used that, dude. My freaking platform screwed up, like destroyed the thing. But that's what I used, because the grass was high, right? So I needed to be able to so I could just take that step and see if I can get a shot into the beans or something. And I had a real big buck coming out of the marsh and everything like that down in Delaware. And then I tried putting a spot and stalk on, and I lost him. And then when I popped my head up, he wasn't far, and you just hear that big body just running right through and right back to the marsh and everything like that. So, and having the opportunity, I think now when I'm now starting the first day of September in Delaware, I've gotten okay with making these mistakes, because it's like, all right, like I'm hunting basically the whole majority of the year now. I get to make these mistakes, and I get to learn from them and see what works and everything like that. You know what I mean? I want to kill a big deer down in Delaware, but you know what? I'm having a blast chasing deer. You know what I mean? And if you guys ever come down, you guys it's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
Of what, because not like Jersey or obviously none of the other states are that small, but for us in Jersey, still for me to go to Frank is like an hour plus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm driving an hour plus in Delaware, I've probably already passed 50 hunting spots.
Oh wow.
And they're literally all stacked. The one area that we hunt, we can hunt probably 15, 20, 25 pieces. So we're constantly just bouncing. We spent the mornings, we would get up at first light, and we would just drive around bean fields, and we'd glass all right, cool, boom, there's a big buck, all right, we're gonna go after it. Peyton did the same thing. We're taking a break. We're in between our hunts. It was me, Andrew from Die Hard, Peyton, and Zach, and we're just talking, and Payne's all right, I'm gonna go scout, because we did a lot of scouting while we're not from there. We can't use trail cameras there too either, so we have to do a lot of scouting while we're in season.
Right.
So Peyton heads in, and we're sitting in this bean field, and we're watching him, and he probably gets a couple 100 yards, and then all of a sudden you just see him get low, and he melts into the beans. So we're oh, what is he on, right? We now take out the binos and and you could tell he knocks an arrow. He's just completely. There were 2 bucks bedded in the beans when he was walking in, and he put a spot and stalk on them, right? And he didn't kill anything, but we were doing that. We're just going through the beans. We kind of stayed away from the corn this year. Not to say that obviously we love corn, but that early in the season you actually get to hunt beans, and deer are going to mostly be in those beans at that time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So we really focus on the beans, and we were just driving around just glassing, and we'd go to this spot. All right, cool. We found this, but we found 2. It's kind of overwhelming how many spots you have, because then I think our biggest problem there is second guessing ourselves.
Yeah.
I think the deer that we focus on in the summer, and we glass some real big deer. When it came to season time, it was so high, it was probably up to our chest. And we didn't see them. We couldn't see them. And we should have stuck with I said, I should have stuck with my original plan and went in after them. But we went and we tried finding different beans, and, because you have so many options. And it's all right, we sat at night at the campfire, all right, what are we doing now? You pull up the map, and it's all right, well, we have this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot. And it's you have too many spots for not enough guys, which is a great problem. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It is overwhelming. Sometimes less is better, and less is more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you start spreading yourself thin, then it's oh man, and then you second guess yourself once you get in, and you're if you don't see a deer, you're now you really beat yourself up, and it's late nights there. By the time we were getting out of the woods and back to camp, it was 9:30 at night already. It is early season has a different it's easier in some ways, but then you have that more of the grind of oh man, you don't eat dinner. And Bianca was with us, and usually we, for Bear Week, we're camping out, we're cooking everything. We're not doing that in Delaware. Because by the time we get out the woods, who's starting a fire? Who's, preparing food? Bianca and I were just running to the store. We'd grab some food. That's where my fast food. Hey, that's where it starts from, Frank. That's where I
got it. All right.
pounds this year. Is it started
Now
down
it makes sense.
It started down in Delaware because I don't eat fast food. I haven't. I started eating fast food when I started hunting Delaware. Because late nights, and it's like, hey, what's the quickest? Boom, get me some food, and you're back in the woods the next day.
Yeah.
But it's a blast. I really hope you guys, you guys can come for at least one of these years coming up. Everyone's work. It's Is it Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Is it Labor Day? And it's Labor Day. Like even for me, like Labor Day, I make time and a half. So like. That's the one thing I'm like, oh shit, like it's my last holiday, my big holiday before hunting season usually, but now it is hunting season. So I think Zach and I are gonna be there for the week. I think we were like, we're gonna be there for a week, and if we kill something, we're going to Virginia because Virginia is literally we right there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think their season starts the next week. So it goes Delaware, Virginia, Jersey, I think, PA, and then New York's, I think.
No, New York's before PA.
New York first.
New York before PA.
Yep.
Okay.
We have that early season.
Yeah.
We have that early season for antlers. Does.
and bears, right? Is that the doe and bear one?
Yeah, there's the bear, early bear, and then there's that early deer season for the does, and then we start October 1st for a regular, bow season here in New York. And the other thing too, Mike, I mean, you got that South bug. You want to go down the line there, but
he does.
You also got a honey hole way up north. It's called Maine.
Yes.
I know we talked about it, and we got to do some talking more. But I just happen to have a camper. In a reliable truck without a broken frame like somebody else I know.
So, and I'm actually like, for those who don't know, who don't follow along and everything like that, man, listen, let me tell you, my baby has gone through the works, and I've put her through a lot on these back roads and everything like that. And I went into the season like, yeah, girl, like this is gonna be your last hunting year. You know what I mean? There's, this is all. There would be days where I get her started, I start rubbing, and I'm like, all right, girl, we're almost there. We've killed a bunch of deer this year. We've got you bloody. We got some geese.
Yeah.
I just rub her, and I'm like, listen, just gotta get me. We're almost there, girl. You know what? I taken it as a blessing because those back roads are completely different than the ones down here. And I knew, and I knew about the frame and everything like that. Like I've been very about it. I've known about it, but I push her to the max of and the engine is still great. So that's the only thing that sucks. Is the engine. She could probably go to 250. You know what I mean? I'm just under 200,000 miles, and I was like, I want, and that was another goal. I wanted to get her to 200,000, and we fell a little short. But like Maine is a big goal. My uncle killed another hammer. My cousin a couple years ago killed a hammer over there. I mean, what really killed me is it was snowing when I was supposed to go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's so like it definitely has to be a priority. It's so hard. I know Zach and Connor, they're both going to Oklahoma. And Zach was like, hey, we're going to Oklahoma this, October or it's November 9th or whatever. And I was like, listen, I was like, one, I don't know if I could, I'm going to have to buy a new truck before hunting season. You know what I mean? So I'm going to need to get a new truck. I was like, but I think I got to prioritize Maine before I go anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every year we put in for the moose permit and stuff like that. So, but we will get up there one year, all of us up in Maine and everything like that, and we'll do a big. I mean, man, it's so beautiful. it gets me fired up. Let the 30-06 eat up in Maine. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. That's some big hunting, man. That's one of my goals. I'd love to go up there and just walk around my lever action up there and get on a nice buck track and do like what Hal Blood does, or the Benoit boys have done over the years, and all the heroes up there. They're really good tracker hunters. I just want to do it while I still can, and it's just one of those dream hunts for me. I'd love to go up there and just, like I said, maybe a nice light snow going on, fresh, fluffy stuff. You can walk in, you don't make a lot of noise, and bump a buck maybe 4 or 5 times, and then finally get an opportunity to drop it in its tracks. Would be a phenomenal thing, man. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, and what I love about there is we're so far up that like you're just driving on the dirt roads, and you never know what can happen. But like my cousins, I think, so he's killed 2 up there. I think his big one is they drove, he got out. My uncle and him went like separate ways, and not even far from where they got. My uncle's like, all I heard was bang, and hey, it's it's a done deal from then. And I think that the other one, they were driving, I think, snow too. Yeah. And the deer was just standing on the dirt road. You know what I mean? So you get out, you put your, obviously you can't be loaded while you're driving, so you put everything in. But then after that, it's good to go, because it's not everything's legal from that point on. And shot it there, and I can't remember what my uncle said this year. I think he found a bunch of scrapes.
Yeah,
his deer scrape line, followed the scrape or posted up, and that day of fresh snow, he came cruising in, and he let him have it. So yeah, we'll definitely get that. I'll stay in touch with them, and try to get something planned. Here soon. Obviously, because that's something like and that's why I tell my family, like, this is something like you have to give me like a big heads up notice for. And you have to give us all a heads up notice, because it's a long drive. It's not an easy drive. So you gotta take time, and I would like to go up there for like a week. That's not like a 2-day trip, and then
no.
It is a week. It is a week trip. It's a fully especially in the winter time, it's got to be prepped correctly. Even things like that. So yeah, that's the goal for us and everything like that. I know the others that he would like to come and everything like that. He wants to do it up there, but my cousin was like, yeah, we need more shooters. He's always like, yeah, he's like, you need more shooters, because it's not an easy thing at all. It's not like hunting down over here.
Nope. I went there. I think I went up there. I was like 19. We went for the week during the rifle season, and that place was unbelievable. I just didn't know how to hunt it. It was all new to me.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people, there's like a lot of still hunting that goes on over there, and I had to learn all that on the fly and try to figure out, because it was something I wasn't used to.
Yeah.
So,
what I love, and what's also very like Jersey or even PA, because I've gone to PA, and listen, PA is big.
Yeah,
I've gotten on deer in PA. You know what I mean? And not saying like it's a lot of onyx. It's like, all right, cool. This is what we look. This year we got on deer. You know what I mean? And Maine's still even bigger than that.
Oh yeah.
And PA is big, but Maine woods are it's a completely like it gives me similarities, but still like a complete night and day difference. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
Jesus Christ. So like here, we could get on deer pretty simple. Right?
Yep.
It's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, like you got guys who, if they see one deer a year, it's like hitting the damn lottery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard some stories like, if you tell a guy over there you saw 30 deer in a hunt, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I haven't seen one all year.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or, I saw one, you know what I mean? It was his tail. You know what I mean? I've still never seen a bear there. Like I've
Yeah.
spent, I get it's to the point in Jersey, it's like it's a deer.
Yeah.
You see it and it's
Yep.
like cool. Over
Yeah.
there, and I've spent a lot of time in those woods and everything like that. I've seen everything. I've seen lynx, seen bobcats, seen obviously deer, bucks, moose, from bulls to cows to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Never seen a Maine black bear.
Yep. Yeah.
Different world. It's bigger.
Yeah, I think it's the quality animals are really high
Yep.
there. It's if you get one, it's going to be a damn good one. And I mean, it's just like if you
Absolutely.
zoomed in on something on your phone and it's all concentrated, and then when you zoom in, it spreads that out further, and that's
Yeah.
like being dropped into Maine. Everything just gets proportioned out so much further away because there's just so much room for those animals to go.
Yeah.
And you have to work for it. If you watch these
Yeah.
guys that have been up there, they make it look easy, but it's not. I mean, those guys ride those roads. They know where those deer crisscross. I've read stories, watched shows of 4 and 5 day hunts on the same buck. And let's face it, bucks, a smart buck does what a rabbit does, just like when I ran my dogs. They'll go in a big circle. They want to see what's chasing them. And that big circle may take you, 7, 8 miles in one day.
Yeah.
2 days, another 8 miles. And then maybe by the third day, you're finally caught up and got a shot into that animal, man. But, I don't know. I like that challenge. I want to do it. I want to get up there. I want to try it. I mean, it's just one of those things, I mean, like you said, there's so many deer here. It's deer. You see deer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's a hunt that going in, obviously you pride yourself on, and I tell my kids this from whatever, your expectations do have to be here, right? You got to go into something like, I'm going to kill something, but you know what? There's another goal too for me, seeing a deer. Because that's a win right there. Like if I see a deer up in Maine, like I don't care if I shoot it or not at that point. Like, all right, that's part of that, and I feel like we've talked about it on here on the the Garden State and on our shows and stuff like that. Is I think people nowadays set their because they set your goal so high, it's like, oh, I got to kill a 150, right? No, part of it is hitting these little goals, right? Part of it is you got to get up out of the bed first.
Exactly.
Right? Then you got to, and then if you're scouting, like for me, like when I'm scouting, like when I'm going to a new spot, I set a trail camera up. If I get a deer or a buck or something like that, boom, that's like if the camera's for just deer, I want to just locate deer, right? And this is my intuition of, all right, I found everything that I usually use to confirm a good spot. Next step is, all right, what is the intel for the camera going to collect? Deer's on it. All right, cool. That's a win right there. What I thought was happening is happening. Oh, wait, this is a big buck. All right. That's another win right there. All right. Everything that we've done, that's another win. Now you're in your field. You're hunting. Oh, the deer read the script right there. All right, that's another win.
Yeah.
And then you kill. Killing is the 1%. The kids ask me that all the time at work. They're like, what it's like hunting? I'm like, listen, killing is the 1% of what we do. Literally, the 1% of what it's the easiest part of what we do.
Yeah.
No, you're right. And I was actually going to I want to get your input on something, Mike. So I was listening to the podcast the other day, and they were talking about if all the states were to ban trail cameras completely, most of the hunters would not be successful because they don't know how to scout, put boots 100%. On the ground.
Nah.
What do you agree, right?
100%. I love it. It's a hate-love thing, right? Because I love that my cameras are out, and that's what I love about Delaware. Yeah, you know what? Trying to collect new intel, and yes, I do wish I could use a trail camera. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only have so much time to learn about these areas. I'm spending time, money, and everything like that.
Yep.
But I also love that you you can't use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything is new. It takes what we believe in, chase the unknown. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't know. Generally, we go down in glass. Yeah, you know, we see some giant bucks and we see some giant bucks. How many more giant? Because I know there's more. How much are we missing?
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're hunting a new spot, and it takes those wins of. I went down there during the rut after I killed my buck. I didn't kill anything, but you know what? I was on fresh sign. I was in a core area, and I think the thing was he was there maybe a week or two before. I just missed him. I was in Jersey. I just missed him. You know what? And I had deer coming in, and I saw deer, and like we were talking about earlier, that's it. But it makes it so much more exciting.
Yeah.
Like I was freaking out over a freaking spike. you know what I mean? It's, you know, in Jersey, I see a spike. I've seen that damn guy on camera a million times. Like, you know what I mean? It would never happen because I think you wouldn't have as much success. We look at Jersey, why they won't get rid of baiting and everything like that is because they want the numbers lower, right? But also how many people lose, or how many people would quit hunting because now is too hard for them? A lot. I think so many people now are used to things easy. People don't want to do what's hard anymore. That's a part of why I love hunting, because it's hard.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You guys know how I work. I kill myself in the off season just to get ready for hunting season.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be hard. This is not supposed to be easy. You know what I mean? It's a I just, could you imagine a state that doesn't have, you know, or like Jersey, say it becomes this federal thing, all states are under one rule. Right? One federal rule. No baiting, no cell cameras. Holy hell. I would say majority of the states, 75% plus of the state, wouldn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah. No,
and that's agreed. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way. I don't. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But maybe if you are the person that's taking the wrong way, maybe it's like, all right, what do I have to do differently? Like, I want to learn it. You know, I know our crew, and I know the guys who we hunt with. I know everyone wants to be better. You take it every single year to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We beat ourselves up over it, man. You know.
Look at Squatch, and we go to Squatch for everything, but he still wants to get better every single freaking year.
Oh man, you don't know, man. You guys, Mike, I didn't get in the contest this year.
Yeah,
I didn't want that added pressure. I mean, it's pressure enough, and I'm not trying to sound like, I don't know, but don't take it the wrong way, but like, I'm on two shows, 3 shows or whatever, doing my thing. I'm in the eyes of a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, I can't go out like these guys go out into like a groomed area that they've, worked on all season long. I mean, I got to get out when I can. I hunt as hard as I can when I can.
Yeah.
We're jumping around at different places. And, it's pressure on me that people ask me a lot of stuff, because, okay, I've been around, I'm a little older than you guys and stuff. I didn't have the technology growing up that a lot of these guys are starting out with. And then it's the pressure of, okay, I've seen the deer, and I'm telling Frank about, okay, Mr. Freaking Perfect is back. I haven't seen Clyde, and, this other dude just showed up now, and I've got to get him because I've got to hold my ego, my personality, my stuff that I'm putting out on a social media platform to be the Squatch, to be the guy that's, everybody goes, hey, that's the Squatch. You got a nice buck this year, and it's like, that shit beats you up, man. It beats you up so freaking bad. And, Frank goes through it because he has successful years, and he's got 7 or 8 deer down and a bear and we're all in different parts of the different states, and we're having success here and a success there. It adds up, man. It beats the hell out of you day in and day out. But it also helps drive you. It makes you strive to be a better hunter. It makes you work hard, makes you put your nose to the grindstone. And it really it can get to you. It can really get to you. It'll break you down. Maybe you had a miss. Maybe you wounded an animal, or maybe it's just not coming together. Like that trail camera just keeps lying to you. It's like, and that's why I said I think this year I'm gonna cut back on how many I put out there. I mean, it gets to be so freaking frustrating, because you got to work and that buck's coming through, and you're telling your buddies, yeah, man, it's like clockwork. I know if I go out there, and then the son of a don't show up for 2 weeks because he had a hiatus somewhere else, and you're just pulling your hair out, and you're going, wait a minute, I'm better than this. Screw this shit. I'm going to go back to what I know.
Yeah,
and it's like, and then there's the element of surprise too. You're just like, oh, cool, this buck showed up now, and I didn't even know he was there. So,
I know.
It's just one of those things.
There's a bunch of actually like good comments in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Zach's. Like, I want to say yes. This is a tough one because yes, it's a generational thing, but then I see a lot of older guys, and it could be that a lot of them are just getting into hunting.
Yeah,
but they're maybe everything's very tech savvy nowadays. Everything is about the cell cameras and even Onyx. Like I didn't use Onyx when I first started and everything like that. You know what I mean? It was you had to go out, you had to scout, you had to go boots on the ground, or you know what I mean? You had to do the hard stuff. So like part of it is a generational thing, but also part of it's not. So a lot of these guys that I see are our age probably. You know what I mean?
100%.
They just wanted the easy way. You know what I mean? And it goes to crossbow, and I have no.
I was just going to bring it up.
And this isn't, but I'm going to say it as in the fact of I like how it used to be in the rules of you needed like a doctor's order or something like that. Don't get me wrong. If that's the only way, great. I want you out there. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of guys that are our age or younger. It's your first year, do it.
Yeah.
Get yourself into hunting. Do it. Once you find out you love it, the next step, move to a compound. The excuse shouldn't be, it's too hard. No, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to challenge. It's just like, yes, eventually I plan on going traditional. Or, you know what I mean? That is a plan. And you know what? Will I stick with it? Well, who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it a try because that is when I feel like I'm ready to move on. That is going to be, because that's the next step.
I've done it.
If someone said, hey, I use a crossbow for 3 years. Cool. You don't have the money. Cool. Get it. Yep. Now you saved up. And now, like it said, hunting has now, killing these animals has become easier for you. Your next step is to challenge yourself with the compound bow. That's my belief, right? Yeah. And then second, one of the guys said in the chat, my shell camera showed me I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And then Gerard actually had a great comment too of, cameras don't tell the whole story. Look at what happened to me this year. Our team, Frank, they all know what happened. I went out to a camera that nothing touched. When I got out there were bucks chasing does all freaking around. I killed one of my bucks a couple hours later. You know what I mean? And it happened multiple times. So every deer I saw didn't pass my camera, but there were deer flying all over. So it tells you a small portion of the story. They say those things to reach out to 85 yards, and yes, they can in an ideal, perfect scenario, but they still miss a lot of action, and you're only seeing what the view is like this. So like you're only seeing 1/10 of what's actually going on around you. So it's very misleading.
It is.
I have felt the same way in the past.
He frees up.
I think so. Come on, Mike. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, now he froze up.
Yeah, hold on. Let me bring it back in.
Sorry, boys, the computer died.
No.
No,
I don't
you're
know.
good.
It was plugged in too, but old computer now. But like I was saying, I used to have the same like, oh man, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Until
Yeah.
I switched up my hunting style, until
Yeah.
I started getting aggressive and not really hunting off what the camera showed me, because I knew that like most of my cameras, I'd say probably like 95% of my cameras have shooters on it at some point.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But when it comes to rut time, like I just need to be out in the woods and I'm going for the hottest sign. Like I'm not going off with my camera. So I don't get the chance to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time. You got to make it happen for yourself. You know what I mean? Unless, you're on a private piece and yeah, you've patterned this buck like Squatch said, he's showing up every single, and he doesn't go on a hiatus. You got to
Yep.
catch him when he's not on a hiatus and
Right.
somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you can catch him, on that time, and it's really going to happen early in the season, you know what I mean,
Yep.
or late into the season in winter, you know what I mean, then you don't have to worry nearly as much of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that comes within time too, and learning everything. Like I used to feel the same exact way, you know what I mean, and then I changed things up and I got aggressive and stopped paying attention to the cameras and going off what Squatch said, instance.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, they're beneficial as all hell sometimes
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Frank will tell you. I had a feeling this buck was sneaking by through the back over here, and man, I just I put the camera out and I'm like, Frank, I know where he's bedding now. I know where he's
Yeah.
crossing into. I know where he's bedding, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just got to seal the deal. And it all came together. I mean, when you have the hunting knowledge, yes, A and B without the trail camera, you read the woods, you read the sign, you read the bedding grounds, the bedding areas, the times they're getting up out of their bed and moving. That's when the trail camera comes in. It's letting you in. It's that game genie, like you used to have a Nintendo. You put it in there and you had a cheat code and you could freaking go on limited shots. I mean,
Yeah, right.
you kind of use it like that, but I told Frank, I was like, this buck, he's moving right at last light. He's getting up, and I know he's bedding close to the house. I know he's in there. And that's what I just had that gut instinct, get out there and hunt it that night. And when I did, okay, I'm using my old school technique of following my gut, knowing what I've scoped out and practiced. And then my trail camera backed up that intuition of how, consistent he was moving through there to food.
Yep.
Then,
Yeah.
it was that 1% that was easy. You made the shot and then you recovered your animal. And that's, yeah, it's cool. But, when you're running freaking 10 of them and you're on different properties and you're trying to take an inventory of what's there and then make a decision, what's my best satellite position to get into, to get on this buck, make a quick, clean kill within like 3 sets and then get the hell out of there. It doesn't always come out that way. You think you got it figured out, but it's just the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's not meant to be your way,
Yep.
Yeah,
Nope, I agree.
Frank, you gone through it before. I mean,
Yep.
we're together, even on the same properties, and
Yep.
I think we all deal with it and everything. But hey, man, I want to
Yeah.
say this is really awesome. We hit that like 118, 120.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brett's probably chewing his nails off, going, "Holy crap, I'm gonna have to edit all this and everything."
Yep. He'll be all right. Give him something to do.
But man, I might have to get up pretty early here. I don't
Yes,
want to cut
sir.
the show short or nothing too much, but
No,
we're
you're
at
good,
that
man.
we're at that limit and everything, where we usually kind of kick off and everything. But first and foremost, Mike, as always, brother, thank you for
Absolutely, man.
we cut our teeth with you and it's nice to have you on. I mean, we got a lot of stuff in store for this new year with everything, and
Can't
always
wait.
always welcome, always great to have you on the show. It was awesome hearing about the amazing season that you had. And the places that we're looking forward to and going. I
Yep.
think it's going to be great, man. I think it's really
Yeah.
going to be
Yep.
great.
Appreciate
Guys,
it.
don't forget to check out, the Boondocks Hunting Podcast, New
Yep.
Jersey, Garden State Outdoorsman,
Yours.
The Unknown, and all these great guys that follow us here. We got our group of followers. You guys all know who you are. You look in the comments, you'll see who's there. Follow those guys too. They're a great bunch of people. We're a big, happy family here. And what do you got, Frankie, to close out?
No, I mean, you said it, man. You did great. Mike, you're like family. We all love you, and we appreciate you coming on.
Yep.
Everybody's going to see more of you, and if anybody wants to come see us, we'll be at the Empire State Show, all three of us. When's the date on that, Mike? It's the 20th, right? February 20th?
Yeah, 20th, 21st, 22nd.
That's
yeah,
what I thought. Okay.
next week. Yeah, we'll be there all week. Or I'll be there all week. I know that. I imagine the boys will probably be there on Saturday. I think you guys are coming.
We'll be there on Saturday. I know Gerard, he said he was going to come on Saturday too.
Yep. G will be there. The Back Jam production crew, they'll be there as well. We're not right next to them this year, but we're going to all be at the same place. Looking forward to it. This one's a tough one, and Frank and I know just last. They did it where it's the end of hunting season, and I feel so weird missing the last day of hunting season. So that's the only thing that's got me a little, a little shaky. But besides that, looking forward to seeing the boys and anyone who's coming. Looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, absolutely, and can't forget our game dinner on March 7th. So if anybody wants to come, please reach out to Mr. Night Tray there, Boondocks Hunting, or Squatch or me. We'll get a hold of them. We'll get you in there.
We'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amen.
But hey, Mike, we appreciate you again, man. Squatch, you want to lace off?
Thank you for having me, boys.
Yeah, let's close this prayer with a prayer out of here. And Father God, we thank you for the blessings of this awesome hunting season that you bestowed upon us. You graced your presence. You shined your face upon us, Lord, and we just ask for more of those days with the upcoming hunts in the spring, and the fishing, and everything else that we do. Let us all be successful. Let us love our families. And just, as always, you got the Squatch. You got old Broadside Ambush Frank. You got good old Mike Nitre. And as always, shoot straight. God bless you all. Squatch, Frank, and Mikey Nitre, we're out of here. Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
You've been listening to the Frank and Squatch Show, presented by Whitetail Advantage. Thanks for joining us around the campfire. Be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, stay sharp, hunt hard, and keep chasing the wild.